Jeremiah is often called the weeping prophet, and here we find a couple of the reasons why, which is mainly because he cries quite a lot. So in chapter 9 he says, "Oh, that my head were a spring of water and my eyes a fountain of tears. I would weep day and night for the slain of my people." And then slightly later on in verse 10 he says, "I will weep and wail for the mountains and take up lament concerning the wilderness grasslands." And what he's crying over is the fact that he sees so clearly, he's seeing it before it's happened, but he sees so clearly the judgment that is about to come on his people. And he's just broken by that. He's devastated by it. And it's easy to understand why when we consider the scale of the punishment that he's predicting, that Israel are not going to be wiped off the face of the earth, because there is hope, there's going to be a little remnant, but it's going to be pretty strong, what's about to happen. And understanding the strength of what is going to happen, we have to really get it, we have to get what Israel have been doing, as I've said the last few days. And God himself, in verse 9 of chapter 9 says, "Should I not punish them for this? Should I not avenge myself on such a nation as this?" And previously he's just been describing in these verses what sort of a nation Israel are. So he says they've set up idols in the house that's meant to bear my name, the temple, the marriage bed of our relationship. They've been having an affair with other gods. He says they've burned their own sons and daughters in the fire, something I did not command, nor did it even ever enter my head. That's what Israel were doing. They were killing their own children in sacrifice to other gods. He says, I've listened, in verse 6 of chapter 8, I've listened attentively, but they don't say what's right. It's not like God's just suddenly on a whim decided to do this. He's been listening carefully for any shred of hope, for any sort of fragment of righteousness that he can uncover, and he can't find anything in the people of Israel. And not only that, he says a little bit later on, you pretend it's not a big deal. Verse 11, they dress the wound of my people as though it were not serious. Peace, peace, they say, as though it's no big deal. And then he says, actually, they're not even ashamed of their detestable conduct. Verse 12, they have no shame at all. They don't even know how to blush. And although it's right that Jeremiah weeps, we can see it from God's perspective, how obvious the fact that something needs to happen is. They have no shame, they don't worship him. And although we can sometimes get caught up with Jeremiah's tears, we should also remember that this for God was something that he would have hated to do. Remember, the whole idea was he wanted a relationship of love with the people. The fact that he had Israel, who betrayed him in so many ways, would have devastated God. And you can tell that it's taken a lot for him to get to this place. But this is where he's found himself.